Dawn tuber that I pulled the sprout off of, and you can see in the spot there, right, where I pulled this original sprout, right, so that's that one. It asked, the plant has told the eye that it's lost that sprout, and so now it's shooting up 4 more new sprouts in place, and we will actually be propagating all of those sprouts. Okay, so you can see it there. Rockburn Ashley is another really good example here. Oh, right now you can see, right, so this one we pulled the original sprout here, and it has like so many more coming up around. And like none of these little sprouts here, none of this is gall. This isn't leafy gall. It's just naturally the tuber doing what the tuber needs to do, which is produce a flower, right? So we're tricking plants into production here, and that's essentially how propagation works. Hey everyone, it's Brittany from Green Bee Flowers. So we are out today back in the greenhouse. It's like 18 degrees outside. It is beautiful today. We have a bunch more seedlings that we're going to get into the greenhouse. Caitlin and Teresa are out pulling stems, weeding out foxglove and the rest of the field. We've pulled the straw flower now. We've pulled most of the Dara from last year, and they're also removing old feverfew. So I'm in here working on getting campanula, nigella or Leia, and some larkspur into the ground today. We are starting to prep and get ready for our Mother's Day subscriptions, right? So we are planting everything now so that it will be ready for harvesting in early May. And very excited. We've got some new crops. So campanula, which is here, this is a new crop for us this year. It's one that I've ordered through other flower farmers before. It's also one I've gotten through the Ontario Flower Growers Association in Toronto through my wholesaler. I love them. They're super pretty. And then the other new crop that I have going in today that we haven't grown before is agrostemma, which is corncockle. So that is being direct seeded over by the bachelor's buttons. And yeah, so some new stuff going in this year, which is really exciting. And I feel like the energy is different this year. Like everybody is just ready for flowers this year. And I don't know how to explain it, but it's like a very tangible, palpable excitement, and that's really cool. So like the roots on what am I planting right now? Campanula, so good. Okay, so we have all of our drip irrigation hooked up. So we have a water filter here. It is all hooked up to battery operated batteries over there. And then this gets filled with water, obviously, and it runs and then irrigates down the rows all the way down. And now we can turn all of the rows off and on depending on where we need the water to go. So one of the things I did want to show y'all how to do, sounded very American there. One of the things I did want to show all of you how to do is to process hyacinths for wholesale. So the first thing I'm going to note is hyacinths are notorious for being short, right, when you get them. However, they are like tulips in the sense where they kind of keep growing after you pull them. But it's important to know like when to pull them, right? So a hyacinth like this is actually a little bit too far open. And I don't know if I actually have any of the ones to show you off the bat because these kind of came ready over the weekend and I just had to go for it. You want them much more, I'll post a photo. You want them much more at a closed state. So where they're just like even, you know, a little bit more closed than that, where the hyacinth itself is just starting to color up, but it's still tight, like it's still in bud phase. Bud phase, not bud phase. So that's kind of like an important thing to know when you are harvesting hyacinths. We do sell a fair amount of hyacinths to our wholesalers in the spring, but I also pushed a whole bunch in our basement alongside of our tulips this year just so that we would have, just one, I wanted to see, and two, I wanted to have some of like our grown flowers obviously available in the store a little bit earlier. So the thing to remember with hyacinths, right, like when I'm picking them for the store, I'm probably going to pick them about this phase. They're going to go into the cooler. But here, as I grabbed them, like they still have the bulb on them. And you can see like the ones I picked a couple days ago versus the ones I just pulled a little longer. And that's because they'll keep growing, right? And this we'll put in the cooler and it'll keep it kind of at this stage. And the girls at the store will use this to put in like mason jars and small arrangements and things like that. And they smell so good. Oh man. Best side note. The best part about having these in like our basement grow room is that when like the furnace or the fans kick on in the house, the whole house smells like hyacinths because it just like makes it circulate around the whole house. So like 10 out of 10 would do this again. That rhymes. All right. So for hyacinths, two things. One, a lot of people have allergies to hyacinths. So if that's you, if you're not sure, specifically to the bulb, make sure you wear gloves. I know that I don't, so I can do this without gloves, but two of my staff have pretty severe allergies to hyacinths. So one of them just doesn't touch them at all. The other one makes sure that she's always using gloves when she's dealing with these. The other thing is you need to watch hyacinths around your animals as well because toxic to us, toxic to, you know, cats. Don't let your dogs eat the bulbs sort of thing. But you can compost the bulbs and toss them out and the squirrels will take them and hopefully leave your tulips alone. So there's that. Now, I've seen a couple different ways that other growers do it. So like North Lawn Flower Farm, I know she uses a cutting board and a knife for this, which is great. I am lazy. We'll just go with that. I don't like to have more stuff around to clean. So I use my snips, and it's actually pretty simple. So I'll show you what I do here. So the first thing is you're gonna take off, use your snips and just kind of like hack off the bottom roots. If you want to work with a cleaner surface, you can rinse this off under your tap. Doesn't matter, it's not going to hurt the hyacinth. I'm going to send these in probably with a little bit of dirt. But essentially what you want to do is you want to come in kind of on the side of the bulb, similar like to what you would do with a knife, right? So like you're leaving the main part of the bulb in the center, and you're just going to chop that off. So it's going to look a little bit like an onion on the inside, and then you're going to kind of follow that around the outside of the bulb. I do them kind of to that stage there, and then typically once you get to the end, it just kind of falls off. You don't need all of these extra little pieces on there, but then it gives you kind of a nice, again, if you want to do this with a knife, you can do this with a knife, but it'll keep your hyacinth, one, it'll keep it clean, and two, now when these go to a florist, you've given them like an extra 2 inches of space on the bottom, and this is a much more useful stem to them, right? Because hyacinths are so short, one of the, I think, problems with using them as a florist is it makes it really hard to use in a lot of arrangements. Now, if you're doing weddings and things like that, and you're doing a lot of stuff with like compotes and centerpieces, hyacinths are a great option for spring. But if you're doing hand ties, obviously this isn't a flower I would put in a hand tied bouquet. If you are doing, you know, funeral arrangements, things like that, hyacinths are a great option for those. And then just, you know, cleaning up the bottom of the bulb here, this would be how I would cut it and bunch them in groups of 5. And this is how my wholesaler would get them, right? He's not going to get them like this. He will get them like this. And now there's nothing that the florist has to do to use this. They can trim the bottom, pull off some leaves if they want to, like, you know, trim it like a normal flower. But by also giving the hyacinth that extra space with the bulb, it's gonna get longer, right? So it's the same thing with tulips. Leave them on the bulb, you throw them in the cooler, they're gonna, you know, grow another 3 inches for you in the cooler if you don't use them within like the first week. Hyacinths are the same. So this is actually gonna continue to grow once we put it in the cooler. And that was something I learned last year when we were processing these. So there you go. So that is hyacinths. We're going to do a few more here and get some stuff ready to go for my staff. Oh, the other thing I forgot to say is because these still have the bulb on them, I don't need to store these in water. I can store these dry and I can store these flat. And the bins that I use for these are just like 8-inch dollar store bins. Super easy, so I will process these and they'll head to the store in this. This one here has colored up on the bud, but it's not open. Ideally, you want the entire hyacinth to look like that. What are they? Oh, look. It's not for you. This one's just for me. So anyways, that's it for today's video. My hyacinths. If you have any questions, of course, post down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you'd like to follow along on the flower journey, hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great day. Bye, guys.